Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Scope. And now, here are your hosts, Jared, Adam, and Shane.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Scope. It's episode 315. Indeed. Not too long of a hiatus this time around. Not a 5-month break. Just,
Not
you
quite.
know, we're doing all right. We're
How long
back.
has it been? When was the last time we posted? I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's
it
probably...
It was September, wasn't it?
September. So,
Okay,
I mean,
not too-
we're in the zone. That's good. That's good.
Not too bad.
And it's a good thing that we are back because this is the very famous Scope Halloween episode. I mean, people are clamoring for it every year. What sort of creepy pranks or spooky tricks will Jared, Adam, and Shane do? Well, we will find out a little bit later in the show. But let's talk about... I don't know. Do I want to go football or do I want to go Halloween first? Jared, I'll let you pick by the music that you play. Jared picked that because he didn't have any Halloween music queued up. So it's football first. Adam, let's look at the standings. Earlier in the season, I felt like the Washington Durs were doing all right, but right now,
No,
not doing all right. Tell me,
They were-
give me the lowdown.
they won a game against the Jaguars to start the season, and they lost 4 in a row. And then now they beat, the Bears and the Packers. So
Two hot teams.
They're coming for the NFC North.
I guess so. They lost to the Lions in there. So we will have our traditional Scoper Bowl.
Yeah. You bought tickets. You bought airline tickets for us, right? And you got tickets to the game, so we're going
for all of us. Yep.
Obviously, yeah.
You're
Should be
so
really fun.
generous.
They're a bad team. They traded for Carson Wentz, even though the Colts were gonna cut him. They traded for him in his $25 million contract for like a second and a third round pick. And
So you're saying the value wasn't there.
yeah, he was not. He wasn't good, and then he got injured. And then perennial Commanders / Washington football team backup Taylor Heineke, former Viking, came in and has played his usual kind of replacement level self, and that was okay against a bad Packers team.
Schizophrenic, and then
You're saying he's not. There's a reason he's not a starter. Is that what you're
Turns
saying?
out, even though people on the internet love the guy, there are probably real skill and talent related reasons why he is not a starter.
he doesn't listen to the haters. He only listens to the people that believe in him.
Hey, good for him. That's good.
That's what you got to do. And front office, back office, Washington Durs situation just as dicey and crazy. Dan Snyder could be out. He could bring down other NFL owners with him. I mean, what is going on, Adam?
Just a bunch of rich white guys doing rich white guy stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Like us three doing podcasts.
Just like us.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile,
This equipment's not cheap, baby.
it is not cheap. Meanwhile, in the NFC North, Jared and I are cheering for the Minnesota Vikings, who find themselves in a 5-1 position, which seems crazy to me.
Some say they're a top 4 team in the NFL.
I don't see it, but as I told Jared earlier in the week, I mean, if you're 5-1, you're 5-1. Doesn't matter how you win those games. You are one of the best in the league until you prove yourself otherwise.
Right. And it's only taken several weeks of the Packers losing games for the sports press to finally start to sour on them a bit.
Yeah.
For the longest time, even though the Vikings were winning and had defeated the Packers in week 1, all of the power rankings at the end of the week were always like, Packers were on top of the Vikings. Packers are on top of the Vikings. Didn't matter. They could do no wrong. They're just having a rough patch. They'll figure it out. Good coaches figure it out. Good teams figure it out. Well, guess what? They keep losing.
Right.
Are they going to figure it out? I don't know. It might be
don't
too
know.
late. 2 more wins and the Vikings may just run away with the division.
Right. And the Vikings, have tallied up wins against mostly mediocre teams or teams that were missing star players, but they've still won, Jared.
Here's the thing about this year's NFL season.
Go ahead.
Most of the teams are mediocre.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really
Most
true.
of them are. There's 4 teams with a winning record. Everyone else is 500 or below.
Adam's team could come back and win the division.
That's the division with
that's one good division, right?
the second place 5-1 Giants, the third place 4-2 Cowboys, and the first place 6-0 Eagles. So I think the teams with good talent and coaching are in their appropriate spots.
So as we go along in this season, do you see anything changing for the Washington Commanders, Adam, or is what we see now is what we're going to get 6 more games into the season?
They will finish 7-10, ish, which is a record that you have now with 17 games, like they always do. And Ron Rivera will, keep his job because they need some level of stability because they have a megalomaniac, crazy man.
Will he be the owner of the team next season? Season.
Yes.
Can't get him out of there.
You need 24 owners to kick him out. That's going to happen.
Not going to happen. And Jared, Vikings are 5-1. Your prediction in the next 6 games. Will we see them at 11-1?
11-1. You think they're going to win the next 6 games?
I'm asking, are they going to sweep the next 6?
No. They've got to go through the Bills. They've got to go through... Are the Giants in the next 6?
Cowboys are in there.
They're coming up at some point.
Patriots.
Cowboys are definitely in there. Patriots are Thanksgiving. I don't know about those Patriots. They're beatable at this point. Who knows which quarterback's going to play? The Cowboys are a legitimate game to worry about. The Bills are a legitimate game to worry about. Surprisingly, both the Giants and the Jets are games you got to worry about.
That's crazy, Adam. I mean,
honestly, every game you got to worry about, but I think, some to a lesser extent. I think those are the 4 of the games that you have to really pay attention to.
Final question about your Minnesota Vikings, Jared.
Yeah.
Are they going to be a team that figures things out and show that they can play a complete game, or is it always going to be skin of the teeth type situation?
No, I think they'll start to figure it out. I don't know if you'll ever see them to dominate a team and put them away in the second quarter, like some of the high power teams can. But maybe this team just isn't built for that. Maybe the scheme isn't built for that. But they've whatever it is, they've figured out how to win games. They're the defense is making plays late in the fourth quarter when it counts. Special teams is holding up and making good plays. Offense can start strong and then falter for a while and then figure it out at the end of the game. So they're holding on. They're staying healthy, and they're one of the healthiest teams in the league right now. They've only had 1 starter miss a game with injury, so that's key too. So if they can hold that up,
doing something right in the training room. We will see. We'll keep on this Viking story. We've got reporters in every stadium. They follow them around. Scope reporters. They give us all their inside information, and we bring it back to our audience. So that's something we do for you. Okay, let's swap and flip ideas. Let's get into Halloween, because that's really what the Scope episode 315 is about.
Yes!
Coming up in the show, we've got a horror icon Scope bracket. We've done a lot of brackets. That one's coming up. But before we get into that, I have one question for Jared, one question for Adam. What's the worst Halloween costume you ever wore as a kid? There has to be something that you look back at it now and you're like, oh boy, this was rough. Adam, we'll go to you.
You mean worst as in problematic in retrospect?
It could. You can define worse. Worse as in problematic. Worse as in, it is so flammable that you can't get near a jack-o'-lantern. Tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. The only one I can think of, and it's it wasn't a bad costume. It just kind of is cursed to me. Is one year I had a very low effort Jason hockey mask,
right.
And some older kids egged me and my friends, and I was probably in third grade, and they're just in a car, and they just threw eggs at us, and I got it right in the face, and I definitely started crying. So that's the one that
stings.
Yeah, that one stings.
Wow, Jared, I know that some holidays were forbidden for you. Was Halloween something that you actually celebrated as a kid?
Heck no.
Oh my.
We didn't get Halloween. What are you talking about? That's the devil's playground. What are you talking about? The worst costume I got to wear at Halloween was either the shame of not being able to participate in Halloween at school, or it was whatever the hell I wore to the Kingdom Hall for the J-Dubs, because we probably went to the Kingdom Hall on Halloween because the devils are out. We need some God in our lives.
Does
A little
that,
hyperbolic. I put on a little bit of a show, but honestly, I didn't really get Halloween costumes as a kid.
do you think that is why in your later years, in your late teens, early 20s, you got so into cosplay and you were dressing up as Star Wars characters, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Luke Skywalker?
I don't know if it might have been a factor. I don't know. It could just been that I was going to a convention where a lot of people dressed as in costumes and it seemed fun. I don't know. It's definitely a factor in why I don't necessarily care about Halloween now as an adult.
Yeah.
I know a lot of adults like to go to parties. They like to, give out candy for trick or treating, blah, blah, blah. It's just, I never had a fondness for it as a kid. And so I don't care about it now.
Jared pulls the shades down, turns the lights off, and then he throws eggs at kids wearing Jason masks.
Oh, it's my favorite thing to do. I bought the 18 pack this year just so I had extra ammo.
I know you're.
You get that exercise carton. 2 cartons was too much. I just want the 18. I don't need 24.
Well, my worst costume is Star Wars related. I think that it was 1982. And back in the 80s, they had those weird plastic costumes, the plastic mask and almost like the vinyl, whatever. I mean, so then I don't even remember the brand. Was it like Don Post or something like that? I don't remember what it was, but
sure.
I was always a big Luke Skywalker guy, but they never really had those. That character you could pick. You could either be like Darth Vader, maybe a stormtrooper. And my mom didn't get me either of those. She got me an R2-D2 one. So if you could imagine like a semicircle mask, right? Like R2-D2. But then you would think that the plastic body suit that would come with it would actually look like R2-D2's control panels. But no, it was like light gray with navy arms, and then it had like the Star Wars logo and R2-D2 there, so it looked nothing like R2-D2. and also to add insult to injury, it was cold, and my mom made me wear like a big puffy red winter coat. So I wanted to show off this costume, and all you saw was I don't even know, like Missy Elliott type look with a half moon, barely recognizable R2-D2 costume as I was trudging through 4 feet of snow.
Wow.
It was
Did you ever want one of those? Remember they had those big inflatable head ones?
I had
for a little while.
I had one of those. Yes.
I wanted one of those so bad as a kid.
I was so little that even the inflatable head my head would tilt to the side because it was so heavy. And I think that explains half of my neck injuries that I have today because I'm so weak, and so fragile. Well, for anybody out there who's listening, want to share their worst Halloween costumes, Jared, what do they have to do?
Call the voicemail line 612-21-SCOPE. That is 612-217-2673, or hit us up on Twitter at the Scope Show on Twitter. I'd say use the email, but our email might be broken at the moment.
You better fix that. And we also could.
I don't think I can. I think Adam has control of that, so I'll have to ping him on that one.
Adam. We need help. And a shout out to Scope listener Dan Taylor, who may or may not be listening. I talk to him on Twitter all the time. He was at the Vikings game in London, saw his first Vikings win, first Vikings game. So if he's got any comments on that experience that he wants to share with us, send something out. Let us know.
I know he's particularly thrilled with all the kicking. They love kicking. They love kicking in the UK.
Kicking over there. It's such a big thing. UK kickers.
Kick.
Well, as I teased earlier in the show, we have got another bracket. This time it's all about spooky horror movie icons, horror movie monsters. We'll get into details on that a little bit later. We've got Adam doing Coming Soon. We've got all the stuff from the Scope that you would expect and want and desire. So let's take a quick break, and we will be back with more of episode 315 of your spooky Halloween Scope right after this.
Folks, you heard me bare my soul about how I didn't get a Halloween. And honestly, the only thing that can placate this injury, this deep torment that I had as a child is if you were to support the show directly. And you can do that. You can do that real easily by going to patreon.com/thescopeshow. You can pledge as little as $1 per episode. You can set a monthly cap. You can cancel anytime. I say these words because they're written in front of me here. I'm not 100% sure if those words are even accurate anymore. It's been a while since I've looked into what the terms and conditions are at Patreon. But trust me, it's very easy to sign up. Patreon.com/thescopeshow. Your support means that we can build that time machine that we've been meaning to buy, and we can go back in time and we can rescue young me from the J-Dubs and give him a proper Halloween just once in his life so that he doesn't grow up to be the broken person you see before you. Patreon.com/thescopeshow for more information. This may have been the same song I used last year. I don't remember. Little free YouTube library trap beat for you for your Halloween. Oh yeah.
You're really loving this.
And here we go.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Episode 315 of The Scope. You can tell by that spooky rhythmic music. It is Halloween time, and Adam, Jared, and I all agree Halloween is the best holiday, right?
Oh yeah, the best.
People are
Jared
saying.
we heard earlier, Jared has a long storied tradition with Halloween.
I'm way into President's Day though now. You should see me.
Oh, well, I mean, we'll be doing that show later. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're back. So, gentlemen, we've done brackets on music, right? We've done brackets on toys. Last year, we did a bracket on Halloween candy. Controversial, by the way. I mean, a lot of my friends who listen to the show still bug me about it. I don't remember who came out the winner, but I feel like it was Kit Kats, maybe?
I thought it was Bit of Honey, but I'm just misremembering.
Bit of Honey went out early, Jared.
Okay.
But we've never done a bracket on murderous maniacs until tonight. So in honor of the spookiest day of the year, your Scope hosts will sift through 16 of the best horror movie icons and pick a singular winner. Let's begin, shall we? I've got the bracket right here. Jared has it printed out in front of him. Adam has it printed out in front of him. I always ask this question as we start. Should I read out the entire listing, or should we just go grouping by grouping? Adam, you're an expert on this. Tell me what to do.
I think you just do each pair.
I take each pair. All right. So we'll start in the North bracket. That's what I'm calling it, the North bracket.
Okay.
We've got a number 1 seed against a number 4 seed. We're talking number 1, Frederick Krueger, also known as Freddy Krueger. He was the murderous, fire-burnt school janitor that would kill people in their sleep, right? I think that's what he was. Many movies, many sequels. He's appeared in, he had a TV show called Freddy's Nightmares in the late 80s. I mean, this guy was everywhere, played by Robert Englund. Going up against a number 4 seed in this division, Regan McNeil. You might know her from the creepy, possessed girl from the 1973 movie The Exorcist. If I'm betting money, I will say that Jared or Adam have not ever seen The Exorcist. Maybe both of them have never seen it. We'll find out. But she is the embodiment of maybe the first mainstream classic horror movie that freaked people out, and maybe besides Psycho, but modern horror movie. So there's some play there. So let's see what Jared has to say about this matchup, number 1 versus 4. Which way is it going for you?
I think this is an easy pick. I think you've got a legacy player here. You've got a player who put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears out on the field, and came out a winner almost every time.
I mean, I think that's not true, right? I think he lost every time.
Yeah,
I might be vamping a little bit. I don't know. I think it's an easy pick. I think I had to be reminded who Regan McNeil was. Once you said it, jogged my memory. But Freddy Krueger is the clear winner in this bracket. Clear winner.
Adam, we'll throw it over to you. Have you seen The Exorcist?
Yes, and you have to remember where I am from and where that movie is based. There's a famous scene in Georgetown.
Okay.
So.
Yep. The hazy fog, streets, street lights. I'm painting a picture pretty much is what I'm doing. Anyway, go ahead. You've seen it. Talk to me.
Yeah. But Freddy Krueger's got the rhymes, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. That's pretty cool. Other ones probably.
Just love a good rhyme.
You know those? 3, 4, better lock your door.
Fun fact, I've only ever seen Wes Craven's New Nightmare of the series. It's the only one I've ever seen.
Oh, the best one.
Could be.
I don't know.
I have seen The Exorcist, though.
Don't know if I'd agree with that. Jared, you are a puzzle.
I have gaps.
You do.
You know why? I've already talked about my gaps.
Okay, I think that'll be that's when we bring back the Forgotten Scope movies. Jared will be Nightmare on Elm Street. Mark it down. Go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
I was just gonna say there's one of them. Which one? Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare. Yep. He's playing he's playing it with an Atari 2600 controller, but ignore that. And he says, "Now I'm playing with power," and I think he's controlling one of the kids.
I mean, I don't know. That's
TV,
like championship level stuff right there.
Yeah.
I don't know why that entertains me so far.
Is that your pick? Is Freddy your pick?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
this is funniest horror icons, right?
Yeah, he's had some great movies. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I will tell you that I have very clear memories of watching a VHS copy of Nightmare on Elm Street at my cousin's house. With the whole family. We rented at the local video store, and it scared me so much, especially the scene with Freddy walking down the alley, scraping his claws with his extended arms, which if you look at it now, it looks like the Survivor Challenge, where you have to take a key off a pole, and to do that you have to tie together sticks, like small sticks, and so these arms are actually sagging, and it's far from creepy, but when you're 10 years old, it is something else. And as Adam said, Freddy is. You didn't say this. I'm saying it. Freddy has maybe the best murder weapons, right? He's got those knife things going on right there, which also makes sparks. I mean, that's serious business. Freddy's third movie, was it The Dream Warriors? It was almost like the X-Men, where the kids get superpowers in the dreams, Jared, to fight back against Freddy.
Hell yeah.
I mean, how do you top that? I will say, when it comes to The Exorcist, I also remember being very young and my aunts explaining to me how scary this Exorcist movie was. So if we were doing this in 1979, when I was just a couple years old, and my aunts were committing child abuse by telling me about The Exorcist, The Exorcist would win. But Freddy's pedigree, he's got so in the zeitgeist of horror movies that if you did not pick him to go on to the next round, you're insane. So Freddy at the number 1 goes through without a problem. All right.
I'm looking at the, just a sidebar, I'm looking at the Nightmare on Elm Street film series, and I'm realizing the first 6 movies they cranked out between 1984 and 1991. Yeah. No more than 2 years between any one film, often only a single year.
Yeah.
They knew what they had, and they monetized it.
I believe the turnaround between 1 and 2 was insanely fast, as I recall.
Yeah.
That's the whole story between New Line, right? They're like it's like that is like technically the it's I don't know, it's the series that saved that company.
Yeah, right.
And then
so you're saying because of Freddy Krueger, we got the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
And the
absolutely
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies, yeah.
Absolutely, yep. Vanilla Ice's first movie appearance.
Yes, first of many.
First of many. Okay, let's go on to the next one. I've got listed here. We've got number 2 seed Pinhead. That's the pin-headed character. I've actually never seen Hellraiser, but that is the main character. I mean, iconic look against, according to how I have this written down, Chuck.
Just Chuck. Huh?
The super nerd turns into a spy. I actually think that should be Chucky, the evil,
very frightening,
the evil doll that comes to life and kills people. interestingly enough, both of these characters now have new TV shows. There is a Chucky TV show, and there is a Hellraiser TV show that's, I think, starring a female Hellraiser. I'm gonna go at this one first because I don't really have a lot of skin in the game. No pun intended. But I feel like an evil doll coming to life. A doll that's embodied with the spirit of a serial killer that looks a little bit like John Gruden, who has had his own issues.
Wait a minute. Is that why they call him Chucky?
That's why they call him Chucky.
I never put that together. That's very funny.
Goodness.
He does
look
similar.
like him. And you'd think that a doll would be easy to take out, but no, this stupid doll.
It's small, just run through your legs and cut your nuts.
Like it's like he's super fast, he's super strong. I don't get it. Pinhead is all like this weird, like S&M demon thing that I don't even get. So I'm just saying Chucky for the win. We're going to send it over to Jared next. You give me your take.
I think this is closer than you might want to admit. I think most people would go reason with you, like, yes, a doll came to life with a serial killer spirit or whatever. Is that? I'm assuming that's the actual storyline of
think
Chucky.
that's the
I've never seen
storyline.
Child's Play.
Okay.
But I actually had a visceral reaction to the Pinhead character when I was younger. I never saw the movie, but the advertisements and it just looked freaky because it's not only is this character have pins coming out of its head, but they're like on like a perfect like orthogonal grid. And it just like something about that. It just like the regularity of it sort of threw me. And so for that reason, I'm going Pinhead.
All right. Perfectly orthogonal grid.
Orthogonal, I think is the word.
Orthogonal.
But whatever.
I'll say perfectal. Got that noted. So, Adam, you're already in a tie-breaking situation.
Exciting.
I'm going to ask you a question. Have you seen both of these movies or seen both of these characters in their movies at any point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I've definitely seen more Chucky movies. I was going to say Problem Child.
No, I was actually going to say that John Ritter was in this Chucky movies, but it wasn't John Ritter, right? Wasn't he in Problem Child?
I believe so, yes.
So it's all confused. But you have seen Child's Play. You have seen the Hellraiser.
Uh-huh.
Do you have visceral reactions to either of them, or orthogonal reactions to any of them?
So at first, I think I was just going to go with Chucky because he's like a more, I don't know, established character. I do like that he had a wife/girlfriend, and it was Jennifer Tilly in one of them.
The Bride of Chucky.
That's kind of funny. But I always did think it was really dumb that he could be strong, right? It's like I get that there's like, I don't know, some sort of hell power. Is Shane
hell power? Yeah.
Is Shane frozen for you too?
No, I'm just sitting here listening.
Oh yeah, he's completely frozen.
Okay,
yeah, he'll come back.
Yeah. And yeah, Hellraiser definitely was scary to me as a kid. Probably just because the word hell was in there. And, and I watched that 2020 where they did the exorcism and demon stuff scared me. But hell stuff is, I don't know, played out. Not cool. Whereas a doll that has superpowers, that's cool.
So
is that your vote? You going for Chucky?
Well, I'm trying to like stretch to see if Shane makes it back in time.
Can you hear me?
I think I'll go with Chucky though.
I think Chucky got him.
Chuck wins that round. Let's go on to the lower bracket on the North.
Chuck.
We got a number 1 versus a number 4. I think this is a slam dunk as it gets. Halloween's Michael Myers, currently in a movie called Halloween Ends. I don't even know if I love the name of that movie or not, but it's the end of the most recent Halloween trilogy. Versus Stephen King's Cujo, the rabid Saint Bernard dog that terrorizes a small family and traps them in a car. At least that's what it was in the movie. I'll kick this one off again. This is easy. This is Michael Myers with a bullet, or in his case, a machete. Cujo was just misunderstood, had rabies, went crazy. It wasn't an evil dog. Its brain was addled with disease. He was a good dog to start, and look what happens. Cujo, you're out. Michael Myers, you're in. Jared, Adam, we'll go to you next. Come on,
I
don't
can just-
surprise me.
I can just imagine the political hit piece. It's like Shane Palmershine loves rabies.
I'm very pro rabies.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if you've seen any of this most recent trilogy. I only watched the
Just the first one.
Yeah, I liked it. That was like for rebooting a otherwise kind of mundane horror guy.
Right.
I don't really understand why he can do the things he does.
Is he superhuman? Is he possessed?
He's very angry. That's all it is.
He's very angry. He's sort of like Chuck in the sense that he's got super strength, but he's like a big man. He's not a little man.
Right. Yeah. And like in superhero movies, they like go through like a lot of pain to like just describe why someone gets superpowers, and then in horror movies, it's just like, oh, it's got superpowers.
Right. And then if maybe he can do something in one movie or one scene, and then he can't do it in the next. It's bizarre.
But yes, I'll go with Mike Myers.
Anything to add, Jared? Are you going to surprise us? Or are you on the same page?
Look, Cujo took advantage of some weakened opponents on its way to the tournament. But it's clearly outclassed now that it's here in the bracket. Mike Myers has had an outstanding season and maybe faltered a little bit late in the game, but still, it's first half of his season. You gotta give him props. Undefeated in those rounds and could be on his way to the title game. We'll see, but definitely Michael Myers in this one.
Continuing that sports metaphor with panache and aplomb. Mike Myers wins in a sweep.
Just trying to add a little color to the show, a little flavor.
You're very good. Well, Jared, give a little flavor to this one.
Here we go.
This number 2 versus number 3 in this division is confusing to me, and we're going to bump into this later in the lower part of the bracket as well. We've got Pennywise from the It movie, the It TV show, the It book. You take your pick of whichever Pennywise you want. I think that's fair. Tim Curry in the TV show or the more recent... Who played Pennywise in the movies? I don't remember, Jared.
Doesn't matter.
Some guy.
Doesn't matter.
He was
the
creepy.
guy from Bad News Bears.
Bad News Bears. Yep. Versus the alien from the Alien movies. Now, this is weird because I wouldn't even consider that necessarily horror. It's more like science fiction.
The first Alien is a horror movie. I think this is well established.
Mm-hmm.
That is a horror movie. That is not a sci-fi movie.
I just don't know if that I would consider that to be a horror icon, but whatever. You guys can make your case either way. Jared, we'll start with you.
This is actually a tough one. I think
they're
closely matched. I think for a little bit, nostalgia comes into play for me on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am a fan of the original Alien. I'm a fan of the Aliens sequel. And to some extent, I like the films that follow afterwards. I've never seen an It film. I've never read an It book. I'm really not that familiar with Pennywise. So I'm going to let nostalgia carry me all the way through this match, and I'm going to take Alien.
Number 2 ranking, Adam. I'm going to send it over to you since you're very strongly opinionated about the Alien. Ridley Scott. We've got James Cameron with 2 of the best Alien films, and you clearly think that there's horror in this. So explain yourself, sir.
I don't know. What's the difference between the Alien and Jason Voorhees? They both are silent, or not silent, non-speaking things that just keep chasing someone. And like they are also chasing someone who's like you can almost see their boobs, kind of, because you can kind of almost see Sigourney Weaver's boobs in that first movie, because like of that 70s, early 80s weird tank top style. But to me, it's like creepiness is scarier than I don't know, whatever you call like a Jason Voorhees, or in this case an Alien. And as a kid, I was very scared of Pennywise. I think because like my mom described the book to me, not the rape stuff, probably, I hope. But and then I saw the first part of the TV miniseries with Tim Curry, and then I don't know, the visual of the sewer grate and everything just always was scary to me. Now the new movies weren't great. But that's fine. I don't need to include that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go. I'd go with Pennywise.
Wow.
Oh.
So Adam makes me be the deciding vote. Well, I'm going to be honest. To start off, I was all about Pennywise. I actually feel like there's not too many things creepier than clowns, especially clowns with sharp teeth. And
That's
and
fair.
both the TV Pennywise and the movie Pennywise, they're certainly different types of clowns, but they're both really sort of creepy. The Tim Curry clown looks a lot like Bozo, which was the most famous clown at the time. And he was a nasty son of a bitch. The movie It clown Pennywise was did that weird dance, and they did a lot of weird stuff with slow motion and sped up stuff, and they're killing kids from Stranger Things. It's all over the place. I mean, it was creepy. We loved it, and it was a horror movie that we actually got to watch with Audrey, which puts a little bit of sentimentality in my heart. That being said, I'm sort of coming around to the idea that the Xenomorph, was a horror icon, right? I mean, Adams explained it right. He's chasing around ladies, eating them up, indestructible.
Trying to eat them up, at least.
Trying to eat them up, killing a lot of people, and it was
Definitely ate some
scary.
dudes.
Definitely scary, that first movie. But I'm going to go back to my original thought, which is I like more of the human-formed horror icons, and Pennywise checks that box. Pennywise checks the box of the clown. So I think we've got an upset with Pennywise the clown making it on to the next round, everybody. Pennywise, It is number 3.
Our first upset.
We love it.
All right, we'll be back right after this quick word from Skittles.
Well, that's not true.
Taste the rainbow, baby. We're moving on to the South Division. Boy, there's some heavy hitters in here, but maybe, arguably, the heaviest hitter of them all, Jason, Friday the 13th Voorhees, at a number 1 seed against Candyman, a main character from a 1992 movie, which I will have full disclosure, I have never seen. And I don't know a lot about it other than I think there are bees and like a meat hook involved.
That's all you need to know.
Right.
That's all
And
I
the
need to
mirror.
know.
Tony Todd is Candyman.
Tony Todd, which everybody loves Tony Todd. But if you don't pick Jason on this, I'm going first. You're wrong. Jason is my pick. Adam, what say you?
Yeah. Candyman, it is kind of creepy because of the whole, say that it's like Bloody Mary, right? You say his name 3 times and then something bad happens. And I definitely remember when I was 12, my friends and I doing that in the bathroom and being scared. But
Anything ever spooky happen when you did that, Adam?
every time, like one of us would die.
Oh, wow. That's why you're sort of a loner.
Yeah.
That's
Sucks.
why he had to move out of state.
Yeah, he never talks about those people.
But yes, I don't know how you could call Candyman a horror icon because I mean until this year he was in one movie, and I don't think I'd really think of him that often. Whereas
Doesn't make your Christmas card
Jason's
list?
been to outer space, guys. So that alone.
Right. And we're not speaking of the quality of the Friday the 13th movies. I have watched parts of them recently, just, Halloween. And last year I bought the entire set because I got it for $10 or something. And they're certifiably pretty bad all the way around. But, Jared, does a bad movie preclude you from getting a win and going into the next round? You tell me.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I think the winner has already been chosen. And Adam stole my reference to Jason going to space, so not much more to say. Candyman was sort of part of that 90s wave of trying to establish new horror icons.
Yeah.
And I don't think that really any of them have the longevity of any of the 70s or 80s icons. And for that reason, Jason is going to continue his
Jason
victory.
goes.
He's going to go all the way through.
We'll let you start off the next round because this is a really interesting matchup. It's
It
a
is.
2 versus 3 seed. Both of these movie characters are men, normal men. Their only distinguishing factor is they're both crazy. and from time to time they like to kill. Let's start with Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho film and his main character Norman Bates on the number 2 versus Jack Torrance from Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. I think that's 1980. Another Stephen King book. Spooky story about a family that goes to move into a secluded northern hotel, and the father goes crazy and starts killing people and seeing ghosts and tries to kill his family. The classic, Here's Johnny line. I've said it all. So Jared, we'll start with you since you got the short end of the stick with Jason. Kick this off and tell us your thought process on who is the bigger horror baddie in this grouping.
This is an interesting matchup because these are not your classic horror icons. There's no costumes. There's no supernatural tricks going on here. These are just normal dudes who are crazy. Now, some dudes are born crazy and some have crazy thrust upon them. So you've got Norman Bates, probably born crazy, reared crazy by his mom, and forced to kill because of that. You've got Jack Torrance, who unwittingly has craziness thrust upon him through circumstance and this creepy hotel that he's in. This is a tough choice, but I think I'm going to have to go with Jack Torrance.
Right.
I find the events of The Shining just much more, I don't know. They're scarier. They're a little bit more tangible to me. Maybe it's just because Psycho was, the 50s or early 60s. I feel detached from that era. It doesn't feel as visceral to me. So going for Jack Torrance in this one.
Okay, I'll jump in next. Psycho, arguably the first mainstream horror film. People would gasp and faint when they would go see this film in the theaters. It was quite startling at the time. That doesn't really clarify if Norman Bates is the better baddie or not, but I think we have to acknowledge that historical relevance. The Shining itself is a super famous film with a lot of insane scenes and iconic moments. But I think I'm gonna stick with the number 2 seed, Jared, and pick Norman Bates just because we talk about these being horror movie icons and they're just regular men. But Jack was a wimp and died at the end of his movie. Norman Bates went on to do sequels and killed again. So he has a higher body count.
That's fair. It's a fair argument.
He's tough. He did it.
Yep.
So it's got to be Norman Bates for me. Adam, break that tie, you son of a bitch.
I mean, I don't think either one of these is what I would call an icon, but Jack Torrance has a popular GIF that is used on the internet when he's frozen, like this one. So that's iconic to me. I agree with Jared. I think we have the same kind of feeling about. There's none of it to me. Horror movies don't ever feel like real scary in a real way, but the idea of a thing happening to you, right? He's a normal dude. He's got a family, and then he gets, this thing happens to him that he's not in control of, and he becomes crazy. That seems scarier to me. So because of that, I'm going to pick Jack Torrance.
Interesting. All right. So Jack Torrance, Jack Nicholson beats out Anthony Perkins in terms of the acting and moves on.
No, that's not. It's what's his name from Swingers? Was the
yes, Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn. Right.
Obviously. So far we have an interesting setup going here, gentlemen. We've got all number 1 and number 3 seeds advancing to the next round. Let's see if that continues in the last grouping of our South Division.
Hey Shane, you know what? It's 1 and 3. 13. Spooky.
Ooh,
dun, dun, dun.
Very spooky. I think we're going to get one half of that right here. We've got Leatherface, classic horror villain, horror icon, without a question. Texas Chainsaw Massacre versus the lead character from the, I don't know when this movie came out. Was it 2000 or so? The Ring. I'm talking about Samara Morgan, that long-haired girl that climbs through the TV set when you play the video. I'm going to let you start this one off. 2002 was when The Ring came out. Adam, you start it.
Well, I mean, if you didn't watch the original Korean one,
it could do that as well.
1991. I had to look up who. I have to look at her name again right now. Samara Morgan was.
If you don't know the name, that tells you a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like then you see her and you're like, oh, okay, right. That is someone who you remember right away. I question the ranking of Leatherface here, but I'm still gonna vote for Leatherface, a series that I've seen 2 of the movies for, and I know he's like there's an iconic like chainsaw, this. You know what? Maybe chainsaws weren't scary until the Chainsaw Massacre. Maybe people just saw them as tools used to cut down a tree, and then he changed the way people look at chainsaws. So I'm going to go with that, and because of that, I'm going to say Leatherface.
Jared, do you agree with Adam?
Look, I'm going to agree with Adam, but I'm not going to sit here and paint a picture like he's Tim the Toolman Taylor. He's just coming out giving you home improvement tips with his chainsaw. Leatherface is iconic because he is like the original bad guy in a horror film with a mask and a weapon that would just terrorize you. He's like the prototype that all others come from. So you have to give respect to Leatherface.
He predates Jason. He predates Freddy. He predates Michael Myers.
Yeah, I guess he did. I'm looking at this up right now. I forgot that he cooks.
Yeah,
and I suppose eats the people that he kills too. So that adds something to this.
Yeah, there's something about, and I'm
He's a handyman and a chef.
Jared, I think we'll tag team this one because we both agree that Leatherface is the winner in this. But the thing about Texas Chainsaw Massacre is that if you look at Freddy and you look at even Jason or Michael Myers, there was like a weird, almost realism to that film that felt more, steeped in something that could actually happen. That was the thing about Leatherface. The other
part of
the
it
other
is they only
movies
spent $16 to make it.
Right. I mean, so that's what they had to do. The other films were a little bit more, there's some supernatural aspects to it that didn't quite feel the same. And so you watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre and you get a totally different feeling of horror than you would some of these other things. So
it's loosely based off of like Ed Gein too.
Yeah,
so it's like it's loosely based off of a real life person who did some of that stuff. Not the chainsaw part, but the whole stripping skin off people and eating their bodies, that kind of stuff.
Right.
That actually happened. So yeah.
So speaking of eating people, we've got another interesting battle here, number 2 versus number 3. I teased that there was going to be more sci-fi horror. Well, we've got it here with The Predator from the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie The Predator, or is it just Predator? And then
it's just
later on there was The Predator, which you and I saw, which we did not like, versus interesting Anthony Hopkins' portrayal of Hannibal Lecter.
Well, it's
Hannibal,
any
the
of the
cannibal,
Hannibals, right?
I think if you allow multiple Pennywise, you need to allow for multiple Hannibals.
So, Hannibal Lecter's been portrayed by a number of different actors, but I mean, the most well-known one is Anthony Hopkins. So, this is a tough battle. I will start this off. I think that the Predator film is less a horror movie than the Alien film. It's scary. That's got some violence. It's got a great cast, but I feel like as a pure horror icon, that Hannibal Lecter has to take this spot. He's quoted to this day. Those movies are quoted. People to this day dress up like him. The Predator is a great sci-fi character, a great sci-fi monster. But I think for horror, my money is on Hannibal Lecter. Adam, what do you think?
Yes. I don't find Hannibal scary. Right. I guess horror doesn't necessarily mean scary.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I equate it. I think the Mads Mikkelsen portrayal, it was like it also wasn't scary, but like, I don't know, sexy
unnerving,
Hannibal Lecter.
creepy.
Yeah. And like, he was like tricky, and how he worked with Will Graham compared to how Hannibal worked with whatever whatever Jodie Foster's character's name was. I can't. Clarice.
Clarice.
Yeah, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I don't find Predator scary either.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know why there's a difference to me between Predator and Alien. I think it's just the movies were different. Like that was an action movie, with a fantastical sort of bad guy.
Originally played by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes, that's true.
And then cut out of the movie.
And he wouldn't do the splits. They asked him to do.
They wouldn't let him do as much karate as he wanted them to do, and so they said, "See you later, jerk." That's a true story, Jared.
Yeah,
that's Shane approved.
It doesn't matter if it's true; it's fantastic. I just love to hear it.
So I liked Prey, the recent Predator movie.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I liked it. It's good.
It's fantastic, Shane.
So, on a sidebar, any movie that a certain segment of the internet hates outright for no reason, you know what segment that is, it's probably a decent enough movie. And that
it's not no reason. It's just some bullshit reason.
Yeah. So anyway,
make your pick, Adam. Come on.
I'm going to go with Hannibal,
All right.
Cannibal, the Mechanical, Lecter.
What are we doing here? Really? We're
Jared.
sending Hannibal Lecter through?
Wow.
When you've got clearly a creature that can murder anything on sight, just waiting. Disgusted with both of you.
Well, if I would have known, I would have let you pick second, Jared. I thought you would be with us 100% on this.
No, I could not disagree more. Predator would have been my pick. It is my pick. It doesn't matter, but it is my pick. I'm on the record.
I don't think a horror icon should have a cannon that comes out of their shoulder.
I don't think either one of these should be here.
A cannon.
I don't think either one of these belong here, but we're stuck with the choices we have. They played the season. They made it into the tournament. We have to respect that. I think Predator should have won, but
he does have a creepy laugh, but it's just a recording of someone else's.
Right. So Hannibal going on to the next round. That is another 1 versus 3, 13. Unlucky number 13. This is exciting. Guys,
and we'll be right back after this quick word from Bisquick.
Boy, I love those fresh baked biscuits. And you can also use them for pancakes. Let's go back.
And we're back with the second round of the tournament.
Second round of the tournament. We're going to go through a little bit faster because, hey, we know who we're talking about. Let's start with our number one.
We've met the players. We're just going to see how it works out now.
Number 1 seed, Freddy versus number 3 seed, Chucky. Killer doll versus guy with metal fingernails and a axe to grind against all those darn kids and parents. I'm picking Freddy, number 1. It's that easy. Adam?
Yes. I'm going to go back to, I really like Jennifer Tilly. So my Jennifer Tilly predilection makes me want to just pick Chucky so I can keep on mentioning her throughout the rest of this tournament.
She's in the Chucky TV show.
Fantastic. She's back. I thought that she was a full-time poker player now, but glad to know she's still acting. But yes, you can't. No one in their right mind would pick Chucky over Freddy at this point. So I'm gonna go with maybe this Chucky TV show really catapults his horror icon status up, but I doubt it because once again, he is a child's doll. So Freddy Krueger, who goes into your dreams, you can't do anything there. He's my pick.
Jared, does the fact that the Fresh Prince did a song about Freddy impact your pick on this at all?
It definitely does factor into the equation, but as you know, number 1 on the board, number 1 in my dreams, Freddy is my pick.
Freddy goes on. Next round, Michael Myers versus any version of Pennywise you want. Jared started off.
Oh my God, what are we doing here? Pennywise barely made it through the first round. You think he's going to hold on against a legend, Michael Myers? Now, Michael Myers has faltered at times, but he's been dead. He's come back. You can't stop him. Michael Myers in a landslide. in a rout.
My favorite was the crossover with the Mr. Wizard's World. They had Halloween H2O, and they did a whole science episode of Michael Myers mixing chemicals. I picked Michael Myers as well. Adam?
What was this?
Halloween H2O.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's going to be any upsets in this round. I'm just saying it.
I was so confused. I was like, what did Don Summers have to do with okay.
That was a turn of the when they brought back Michael Myers, and he died in that one too. He got his head chopped off.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing.
Okay.
Most people agree spiders are scary. Pennywise has been a spider.
Right.
Michael Myers never been a spider before.
Okay.
True.
So, and then what
I'd
do you
still
say?
go with Michael Myers.
Very nice.
He's always on fire and still just killing people anyway. He doesn't seem to care. He's got
like
the whole William Shatner mask thing is kind of interesting, so I'll go with him.
He's like Jaws the Shark. And by the way, should Jaws the Shark be in here, Jared? If you like all these other sci-fi monsters, is Jaws the Shark a horror movie icon?
I love that you've named it Jaws the Shark.
Jaws the Shark does not belong here.
Jaws the Shark belongs on this list way before Samara Morgan.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. Next round. This is an easy one. The Shining's Jack Torrance beats Jason easily because Jared says sometimes when horror is thrust upon you,
Madness
madness
is thrust upon you.
Madness is thrust upon you. That's the scariest thing in the world.
Are you really picking Jack over Jason?
There is something about the snowy isolation that scares me to pieces. The possibility of reality closing in on you. Hell no, I'm not picking Jack. I'm picking Jason.
What is going on right now?
I just wanted to make it, because it's a Stanley Kubrick film. It's thoughtful. It's scary. It's maybe the best best visual film of everything. I mean, it's something special. But I mean, Jason just chops him up and moves on to the next victim. Am I right?
100%. What are we doing
Scatman
here?
Crothers doesn't stand a chance against him.
Like I said, I think in this round there are no surprises. I think we know who's going to win. It's Jason.
Well, I don't know. Adam, do you agree with Jason?
I'll look at my research here.
He's looking at his notes.
Once again, Jason has been to outer space. Jack Torrance, as far as I know, well, he died, and we know he didn't go to outer space before that.
He froze in a hedge maze.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Jason again.
Okay.
I think you're thinking you're foolish now to not send the Predator through because Predator's been to space too. You could have had a Predator versus Jason.
Or
two
Alien.
have gone to space. Who will come out victorious?
Jared,
we'll never know in that dream scenario.
I think there's a difference between going to space and being from space.
I really like your
You made the music
right
stop. Are you saying that he can't be from space, go to a planet, and then go back to space? That doesn't count? You have to originate.
I mean, Jason is
Are you
mostly
saying he was
Earthborn.
born in space?
He's Earthborn. He might have been. We don't know. Have we been to the Predator planet? I don't know.
It's
Maybe
like, would I say
spaceships.
Shane has been to Minnesota, right? It's like, I mean, yes, but
Right.
also I want to just backtrack. His name is Bruce. His name is not Jaws the Shark.
I'm sticking with Jaws the Shark. I like that way better. All right, let's go on to, according to Adam, questionable horror icon Leatherface versus any number of different Hannibal, the Animal, Garanimal, Lecter. Leatherface goes on against Jason, in my opinion. Easy. Leatherface doesn't worry about fava beans or cutting off a tiny piece of your brain and cooking it in a frying pan. He'll chop your whole head off and throw it in the Instapot and bam, you got a meal. You've got your butter chicken, but human head style, Jared. Leatherface wins. No?
I think you've posed an interesting question. I think if Predator had come out of the first round and been facing off against Leatherface cruises through and is facing Jason in the next round. Hannibal presents an interesting matchup because you brought up the fact that people dress up as Hannibal for Halloween still. I don't see a lot of Leatherface costumes. I see one here and there. But I think you definitely, if you were going to do a survey of college-age students and how they're dressing at their Halloween parties over the
They'd
years,
say,
I think
"Stop
you're going to
talking
see
to me, you old creep."
Right.
Yes.
I'm dressing like
but
Doja Cat.
But those that do accept the $10 I offer to answer my question,
Ah.
I think you're going to find more Hannibals than Leatherfaces. And does that mean that Hannibal should advance?
I'll answer that. No.
That's a tough question. I know you've already answered.
No,
You've already answered.
Absolutely not.
I feel like Leatherface, I give credit to Leatherface for kind of inventing the masked weaponed horror icon space. Full credit for that. But I feel like in this day and age, I feel like Hannibal ekes out a win against Leatherface. That's how I feel.
I think you're bonkers, but
That's how I feel.
But Adam, guess what? It comes down to you. I mean, you've already questioned.
Jared's
I said
right.
there'd be no upsets, and
Jared's
I'm
right.
staring at a potential upset right here.
I stick with my previous statement about Leatherface. Doesn't even have a name.
It's
It's
Bruce.
not Steve
His name is
Leatherface?
Bruce, by the way.
I think he does have a name.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Whatever. I think that
He does have a name.
I don't care about either one of these guys. Neither one's gonna win the whole thing, so who cares? But this is like one of those like Elite Eight rounds where you're like, well, sure, but they're going against Kansas or whatever next round, so they're gonna lose. Whatever. Leatherface is the right pick here. That's more iconic horror bad guy.
AKA Bubba
No
Sawyer.
bracket buster. There's no
Wait,
bracket buster.
When was the last
Bubba Sawyer.
When was the last Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie?
Well, there was like the redos probably within the last 10 years.
So but Hannibal's more prevalent in pop culture too.
That's what I'm saying. You've made your choice already.
I've already written it down, so it goes forward. So we've got.
So his just as for the record, Leatherface's name was revealed to be Bubba Sawyer. It was changed to Thomas Brown Hewitt in the 2003 remake, and in Texas Chainsaw 3D, the character was renamed Jedediah Jed Sawyer. So he's had multiple names over the years.
Sounds like he doesn't have a name.
And maybe that's Leatherface is a role that someone assumes. What do you think about that?
Less scary.
Less
now
scary.
Now it's just a guy.
And not a single chupacabra in the bracket.
Way too complicated. Well, we've got 4 number ones going against each other. This could go a lot of different ways, but we will start at the top in the north. Freddy Krueger versus Michael Myers. I will start this off. I thought a lot about this, gentlemen. I've told you my stories about Freddy scaring me as a kid, not being able to sleep after that movie, thinking about those hands, thinking about Johnny Depp being sucked into a bed and blasted onto the ceiling in a geyser of blood worth 55 vans full of Red Cross blood donations. And Michael Myers, who dresses up like William Shatner and tries desperately to kill his sister for like 15 movies and can never do it. Michael Myers is a failure. And he's failing on this round for me. It's Freddy Krueger going on to the final round. Suck it, Michael Myers. Suck it, Halloween Ends. Suck it, Rob Zombie remake of Halloween. Suck it all. Adam, your turn.
Okay, I'm doing a little bit of on-the-fly research here, as far as I can tell. Michael Myers never.
You certainly have had no opportunity to do so until now.
Never played a video game.
He's finally getting educated on Michael Myers.
Well, I'm trying to see if he played like a Commodore 64 or something. He predates Freddy by a little bit, and as far as I can tell, he never did. And again, he doesn't have a cool theme song here. The next one
in Halloween 7, he picked up a Genesis controller and he says, "Michael Myers does what Nintendo don't." That's what he said.
If Sega was going to pick a horror icon, it wouldn't have been him though.
No, it would have been Jason because of Splatterhouse.
Good point.
Thank you.
Okay, this line I didn't remember, but it's 5-6. Grab your crucifix. I feel like that's a little. But so now are we implying that Freddy's like a vampire? That's a little weird.
Here's the thing, Adam.
Yeah.
Since Freddy is like a weird, dreamy guy, all of like the horror movie tropes that we don't understand with Jason and we don't understand with Michael Myers being indestructible, it's different with Freddy because he is sort of a weird mystical being. So those things work a little more, don't they?
Yeah, sure.
But hey, don't listen to me.
There, you know what, Shane, you brought up the familial connection, right, with Michael Myers, but that exists for Freddy too, right? Because he is originally going after the children of the townspeople that murdered him.
Correct. Yes, because he was a child killer or molester or something like that, which is not a great look, by the way.
Right. In retrospect, they should have made him into something else.
He was a woke Starbucks employee.
I do like the idea of a politically correct Freddy. So anyway, Freddy Krueger is the right pick here.
Jared, is that the way you would have gone?
What are we even doing here?
You sound like Sleepy Joe.
What are we doing? I mean,
come on. We gotta do this.
Fight for the soul of America. I'm clearly outvoted. But had my vote counted, I would have gone for Michael Myers.
Tell us why.
Freddy Krueger started out strong and puttered his way to the end. It became a mockery of himself in the end, honestly. And they tried to revive him, Freddy versus Jason? Get out of here.
Well, hey, you're just previewing the next round, so
yeah,
let's slow down.
I guess I am. Michael Myers has managed to have a legacy of films from 1978 up until the present day. You could probably walk into a theater right now and you could see his film, Michael Myers, on screen. Does that not count? Does legacy not count? Does longevity not count? Sure, there's been some peaks and valleys, granted, but Michael Myers is still in the cinema today.
Adam, can I ask you
How do we not pick Michael Myers?
Adam, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Has there ever been a Nightmare on Elm Street or a Freddy movie?
And another thing.
Has there ever been a Nightmare on Elm Street or a Freddy movie that didn't star Freddy Krueger? Was he in every single one of them?
Are you okay? So in New Nightmare, he's in that too. He's in all of them.
Guess what? Halloween 3, no Michael Myers. Oof. It was possessed Halloween masks that they put on kids. Michael Myers can't even be in every single Halloween film. Yeah. Jared.
But I'm pretty sure is it Wes Craven that's behind?
I'm out. Full outrage. Sorry, I'm just doing it for the show. Doing it for fun.
John Carpenter. I'm pretty sure John Carpenter says that Season of the Witch does not count. No, he produced it. Never mind. All right, yeah.
Shane's right. Jared's wrong. Adam's right.
Yeah.
Next round, Jason versus Leatherface. These two are interesting because they are both forces of nature.
They both wear masks.
They're both killing machines. And I'm just going to go... I'm going to start this off. I'm going to go with my gut. And if I were
go with your gut next show.
And if I were going with my gut, Leatherface would chop it out and then eat it. I think from a purely scary standpoint, that Leatherface is the scarier villain because he is something that is closer to real life, that if your car breaks down in the middle of Texas, you could end up at this guy's house with his crazy family and on a meat hook, just waiting to be eating. So this is going to be my upset. I'm saying Leatherface is the scarier villain. Adam, what do you say?
I don't think anything is scary about Leatherface. Jason.
Sure.
Jason teleports. Like you run away from him and then you
space. You turn
the corner and then he's there again.
You run fast and he walks slow and he still gets you.
Leatherface doesn't need to teleport. He'll just cut through a wall to get to you.
That's true. Okay. Has Leatherface ever been to hell?
I mean,
Jason has gone to hell.
I mean, that is fair.
in 1993. So I feel like that counts for something. And once again, Jason's been to space. So my pick on this is going to be Jason.
Okay. All right. So, Jared, it all comes down to you. Jason versus Leatherface. In the battle
wait a minute. We didn't even talk about Jason has taken a huge
dump
metropolis.
Oh, we're not
in America, and he took Manhattan. I mean, it was like him and then the Gremlins the next year,
right?
And maybe the Muppets the year before. But
from what I understand, he was in Manhattan for like 3 minutes of that entire movie. He was barely.
So you're saying he took Manhattan in 3 minutes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. At least the Muppets took Manhattan, and they did it right. Jason couldn't even do that. Jared, back to you. Don't let Adam steal your thunder. For once, you get to make an important decision. Do you send along the easy pick, Jason, or do you dig deep and pick the underdog? I think Leatherface is the underdog, and Adam can barely stay awake. He is yawning. It's embarrassing over there.
I gotta say, the temptation is there for life to imitate art, and that would be to send Jason into the finals so you can have your Freddy versus Jason battle. The temptation is definitely there. However, I do see Shane's argument as well. Leatherface is the scarier in IRL.
What does that mean?
In real life.
Ah, yes. Are the kids saying that?
I'm not saying that I'm not scared of a gentleman in a hockey mask and a machete.
What about
who can teleport and visit space on a whim?
What about a third grader in a hockey mask with egg all over his face?
I mean, that's as frightening as it gets. He's at Jimmy height. He's gonna poke me right in the nards.
That's like Chucky in a Halloween mask.
Pretty much.
Go ahead.
But we're not talking about this mythical third grade Jason who's been egged and shamed in front of his peers. No,
and he definitely cried.
That's what third graders do. What do you want? He's gonna cry. He's an emotional being. He lives in the world. He has thoughts and feelings too. Unlike the unfeeling Jason, who will just murder children at a sleepaway camp for no. Well, that's a different film. At a summer camp. I don't even really know what the Friday the 13th films are about. His mom, I think, did something too.
Camp Crystal Lake.
Camp Crystal Lake. There you go. He did go to space though. All right, I'm dragging it out too long. I'm going to avoid the temptation. I'm going to say Leatherface. I just think he's the prototype of the genre. I got to send him through on that.
Adam, your feelings. Your feelings.
Oh, we care about feelings now? That you made fun of me being vulnerable? No, I'm done.
Wow.
Well, now it really all comes down to this. 2 number ones. You've got, I would say, maybe the one of the most iconic dream villains of all time. Maybe the only one, Freddy Krueger.
Mm-hmm.
He had a TV show. He had movies against Leatherface, based on a real guy. Chases people with chainsaws. It is something else here. I don't even know what to say. Jared, you sealed the deal with Leatherface last time. I'm going to let you pick first. Are you going with Leatherface in the final round? I can't even believe that you might even do something so crazy.
I don't believe it. This is an easy pick, honestly. I think Freddy Krueger, as I said before, number 1 on the board, number 1 in my dreams. He sails to an easy victory over Leatherface. Leatherface, we respect you. We honor what you've brought to the genre, but your vision was perfected in one Frederick James Krueger.
Mm-hmm. Who sang the song Dream Warriors from the Dream Warriors movie? What heavy metal band? Do you know, Jared?
No.
Adam, do you know?
No.
The answer is Dokken.
Wow.
There you go.
Dokken. Adam, you heard Jared's pick. He picked Freddy. You are steaming mad about Leatherface. There's no question. You demand that Jason would be here. By the way, if Jason were here against Freddy, who would you pick, Adam?
I mean, I'd go to the videotape and watch Freddy versus Jason and see who won that classic battle.
And that tells you the story.
and that would tell me the story.
But we don't
I
have
was
that
so
option.
close. His name is actually Frederick Charles Krueger.
Oh.
I was so
Boy.
close in guessing his full name. Sorry.
Angela will have you sleeping on the couch for that mistake.
Yes, it's so I had to pick one of these guys. I'm going to go with well, you know, in one of the Nightmare on Elm Streets, when one of the girls is on the phone calling the police, maybe Freddy's mouth, the receiver of the phone becomes Freddy's mouth, and he like tries to kiss her. You know, he's like that's scary.
Classic.
I don't like that either. Yeah.
So that's gonna be what puts Freddy over the top for me as the what's this biggest horror icon?
Biggest horror icon. So Freddy Krueger wins, and just for the record, give me some applause. Get with it. I pick Freddy to win here as well. If Freddy goes against Jason, I still think I pick Freddy, but I mean that is the matchup. And I do feel like in the movie that does Jason win that match? I honestly don't remember, but I'm also not a big fan of this genre, so I don't even know why the hell we even did this.
Freddy infiltrates Jason's dreams and recruits him to make the children of Elm Street fear him again in order to regain his power. But Jason keeps killing the victims before Freddy can get to them. What a jerk!
That
leading
probably
to one
pisses
pissed off
Freddy
Krueger.
off.
Oh yeah. They fight. One loses. They fight again. The other one loses. Most importantly, they fight. I think it's a draw in the end.
It's a draw. Nobody gets out of there is true champion. But in our poll, in our bracket, they do. Frederick Krueger wins. Spooky days. Jared, let's take a break. We'll be back with more Scope and Adam's angrily presented coming soon. Right after this.
There's more of the Scope dead ahead.
Under the Scope.
We are under the scope, and Adam is bringing coming soon to you. Hit it. All right, Adam. Will you even participate after your devastating rejection in the last segment? I do not know.
I don't think I think we all agreed, and I'm happy for it.
None of it really matters.
Yeah,
it's just fun to discuss.
Exactly right. Nothing matters. About to give the Republicans 1 or 2 houses in the government. Nothing matters anymore.
Doesn't matter.
Hasn't happened yet.
Let's see. Movies coming soon. We've got this Netflix movie that I don't know anything about, but Henry Cavill and Millie Bobby Brown are in it, and Helena Bonham Carter.
Holmes 2, right?
Yes, I don't know what Enola Holmes 1 or 2 is, but that exists.
So the first one was fairly popular. I got through about half of it and said, "This isn't for me." This is how I feel about most Netflix movies, unfortunately.
Yeah. The big thing this week, the week of November 4th, is Weird: the Al Yankovic story.
Oh.
Coming to the Roku channel.
Powerhouse
so I don't know how
stream service.
Yes, I don't know why that was the pick. I feel like it could have been elsewhere, but maybe that's the place where they gave Weird Albert Yankovic the most creative control to do whatever. So,
early reviews have been phenomenal.
Yes, I'm excited about that movie.
I'm so excited for this movie.
What else? So Black Panther comes out next week.
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda Forever. Yes, the first on-screen appearance of Ironheart. Right. We have that new Marvel teenage hero.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. What else? There's a Steven Spielberg movie. It's maybe going into limited release this week. The Fabelmans.
That's getting great reviews. That's sort of an autobiography of his growing up.
Yes. So I think that's the most of the. Oh, right. There is this Paradise City is a movie starring John Travolta and Bruce Willis.
Oh my.
Yes, right. I think it is technically not Bruce Willis's final movie. It is one of the last movies before he retired. I really like this quote. So the premise is Ryan Swan must carve his way through the Hawaiian crime world to wreak vengeance on the kingpin who murdered his father. And I was just like, I wonder if this is just a movie filmed in Hawaii for, people to be like, hey, let's go to Hawaii for a couple weeks. And yeah, sure enough, filming began in May 17th, 2021 in Maui and wrapped up 3 weeks later. And I just like this quote from this Maui County Film Commissioner. They said, usually a big action movie, like Paradise City, takes 3 months of prep. They did it in 2. There were some restrictions on this one because of the short notice where they could not film exactly where they wanted to or do what they wanted to do. So they were constantly rewriting the script. Like, I mean, you're not going into this movie expecting it to be good, but I just like this weird shade that the Maui County Film Commissioner, Tracy Bennett, is throwing on it. Music. Now, guys, this list is too long. So I'm just going to go through a few highlights for me.
Mm-hmm.
We've got an album from Phoenix, from PJ Harvey. That's the Peas, so I'm done with those. Alicia Keys. There are a couple.
Interesting. You chose to start with the Peas.
Yeah, that's where my cell was highlighted in Excel.
Okay.
There for some reason. Bruce Springsteen has an album coming out. Fits in the Tantrums, heard of them before. Nas has an album coming out. Run the Jewels has an album coming out.
Jeez.
And Smashing Pumpkins have an album coming out. I would not recommend based on the last 10 or so Smashing Pumpkins albums, but there you go. And finally, we have video games. Now,
yes.
It's November, so video games are coming out. Specifically, God of War Ragnarok is coming out if you have a Sony console.
Which I do now.
There you go.
I have a PS5.
Congratulations. How'd you get yours?
Shane sent me a link and I got it directly from Sony. I got into the queue and I got a spot, and I had to buy the one with Horizon Dawn or whatever. But it's fine. It's fine. I'll play that game eventually.
So that's the big one. There's also like Tactics Ogre Reborn. A lot of people were like really into these tactics games in the Super Nintendo era. So there's like a remake of that coming out. Last week, based on when we were releasing this, Modern Warfare 2 came out. Modern Warfare 2 again, because this is, the second Modern Warfare 2. Goat Simulator 3 comes out next week. If you have been into the Goat Simulator games, of which there's only been one, they just skipped 2.
Strange.
They're funny,
Right.
This is them. They're funny. Yeah. So that's it for. There's a long list of like other niche games, but they all have funny names like Yves 8, Lacrimonas of the Donna. So
those are the only things you should be reading when it comes to video games, remember?
Just the most complicated titles, the ones the hardest to pronounce.
Yeah.
That's all we want.
Yeah, that's right. There's a Sonic the Hedgehog game I should mention coming out called Sonic Frontiers that was getting really bad early previews. Like all 3D Sonic games should.
Yeah, so they never can figure that out.
No.
Well, Adam, thank you very much for your coming soon. Jared, let's wrap this up and close down the shop.
Close down the shop.
Close it down, baby.
Under the scope.
All right, Jayhawk.
Just letting it wind up. Welcome to the end of the program, folks, where we, as Shane says, close down the shop. That means everything's got to go. We're closing it down. We're in liquidations. The fixtures got to go. All of the odds and ends got to go. That one style of the outfit that nobody could fit into for whatever reason. It's there. It's ultra clearanced. Come and get it. It's probably your size. You want it. You want any details on where the fire sale's happening now? Email us at the comments at the scope. Just comments, thescopeshow.com. Why did I put an article in front of it?
Because you're thinking about the Predator.
I think we'll have Adam check and see why our web host has decided that it's no longer going to forward emails to us. It's weird. I don't know why that's happening, but we'll get that looked into. Comments at thescopeshow.com is the email. The voicemail line, 612-21-SCOPE. That is 612-217-2673. Call it up. You'll get greeted by Tony Partington, our announcer, and you can leave a message for us, and we may play it on the show if it's interesting. Tell us what you think about this Halloween scary icon bracket. Did we blow it completely? Did we get it exactly right? Those are your two choices.
Right.
There's no in between.
Yeah. And what's the worst Halloween costume you ever wore as a child? Just to do a little callback from the beginning of the show.
Were you Did you have a devastating childhood like me, or did you have a great one?
Hey.
Were you, did you get every costume you wanted, and they were all perfect? Maybe that's you, and you want to tell us about it. 612-21-SCOPE. We're also on Facebook and on Twitter. Those links are at our website at thescopeshow.com. Or if you'd like to watch the show, you can check us out at youtube.com/thescopeshow. Or it might be because they're rolling out this thing called handles now. I don't know. I think it might be youtube.com/@thescopeshow at some point. I don't really know how that works. Hasn't been decided for us yet.
You know, one thing about Twitter, Jared, is that for whatever reason, I kept seeing like crazy right-wing crap in our Twitter feed on Scope, so I keep blocking that stuff.
Okay.
Weird. That does not represent what we think, by the way.
Well, it's not. Everyone's feed is different, so.
Oh, well, I don't know why that stuff is showing up, but
because Twitter is a hellhole where that kind of stuff bubbles to the top, and Twitter, the algorithm thinks everyone should see it and get radicalized. That's just how Twitter is. That's just the thing, Shane. Anyway,
okay.
If you want to,
okay.
if you want to support the show directly, you can patreon.com/thescopeshow. That's where you can support us directly monetarily. If you want to, I don't know, maybe support us. Can't really say for sure if that's how it works. You can shop at Amazon. Holidays are coming up. You're gonna shop at Amazon. You know you are. I know you have moral reservations about what they do and how they treat their employees, but everyone wants to watch the good shows they have. Everyone wants to have 2-day shipping that ships 3 days out and might get there in a week. Whatever. Thescopeshow.com/Amazon is a link you can click on, and who knows what'll happen. You know how
I use it all the time.
These things work.
Mm-hmm.
We get a few bucks to pay for the web host that decides not to forward us emails. That's how that works. That's back to you, Shane.
Wow, Jared leaves on a high note, does he not? He's chugging water. Let's wrap this thing up, Jared Adam. Great show to our fans and listeners. Happy Halloween, and we will be back in 2 weeks with a tasty treat. So until then, bye for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we find ourselves once again at the end. I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I know I have. Fear not, Scope faithful. Days shall pass as if they were but a moment, and Jared, Adam, and Shane will return with another thrilling episode. Until then, send your comments to comments@thescopeshow.com or leave a voicemail message by dialing
612-21-SCOPE. That's 612-217-2673.
Thanks for listening, faithful fans. This is Tony Partington saying sayonara. Tune in next time to another terrific edition of The Scope.
We just got canceled.